We're still up on the tripod. Good morning, everybody. Jasper here. And I said good morning, everybody. I hope, wherever you are this morning, you wake up as happy as I did. Day 9 today. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Silver Creek Conservation Area. Nice map, topographical map, I guess. Says you are here. I love it when they show me that you are here, because sometimes I do need that guidance. Okay, well, we're doing just fine. Let's just keep moving north. We just came out from the forest onto the 10th line. 10th line of what? I don't know. But this beautiful property here, I've seen this many times, with a pond, a home, fences with barbed wire, so I guess they're quite concerned about keeping the vagrants out. But it's a gorgeous property, gorgeous pond, nice big pond, just a beautiful place, nice home in there. Obviously quite a few dollars involved, and a fountain, water fountain in the pond. Looks great. Just for a little bit we get to walk down this little gravel country road. I like gravel country roads. You go through lots of little communities, especially further north, like on these kind of roads, and I just like them. I just really like them. You see lots of interesting things. No fishing, posted private property. Yep, they're quite concerned about keeping people out. Anyhow, just a little update of where we are. So, today I'm going to start answering a few questions that I'm getting in regards to this hike and other hikes. So I'm going to start off with answering a question that actually came in regards to episode 7 of my Appalachian Trail through hike. And it came from Linda Murphy in Collingwood. Linda I know well. She's a 2019 PCT through hiker, class of 2019. And she asked me on the latest video number 7 that I'd posted probably a week ago now, did all of those hikers fit in the shelter? It looked like mine was the only tent. Well, what she's referring to is we'd entered into the Smoky Mountains, and a little bit of a kind of a prelude to that was everybody had sat for about 3 or 4 days before entering the Smoky Mountains due to the absolutely horrendously cold, severe high wind weather. Very dangerous in the Smokies. Park was closed. Nobody was allowed in. When this happened, this went on for about 3 days. On the 4th day, which was a Sunday morning, they opened the trails through the Smoky Mountains, which meant there was now a second bubble. Well, bubble is a big group of hikers north of the main bubble. which hadn't really started to develop yet, but was developing, I guess, slowly. So in the Smoky Mountains, you can only camp or shelter at the shelter sites. You can't just set up camp anywhere in the Smokies. You can in most of the other areas, but not in the Smokies. So when I got to this particular shelter, there was a lot of people there, and I guess Linda saw this on the video, and she said, and it looked like mine was the only tent, but it was not. To answer the question for Linda, that night, that shelter was overflowing with people, with hikers, and all the tent sites, and then some, were all occupied. So I know it probably looks in the video like mine was the only tent, but it was not. I don't know how many tents were there, but there was a lot. So, and it was like that pretty much all the way through the Smokies, just because everybody again had sat in Fontana Dam. So there was that bubble all traveling through the Smokies at the same time. And again, with only being able to camp or at the shelter sites, everybody kind of pushed to get there so they maybe could find a spot to camp that night. Anyhow, that answers the question from Linda. So we're on a good bit of trail here, so I'm going to answer another question. I don't know who this came from. It just came in, I think, yesterday or the day before. And this is regards to the Bruce Trail through hike of 2022 that I'm hiking right this minute. She said, where do you find your hiking partners? Well, I'm going to show you something. Take a little look around. No hiking partners here. I don't mean that in a arrogant way. I'm just having fun, but I do have hiked with other people. If you remember, I've hiked with Andre, who's a 2019, also a 2019 PCT crown holder, class of 2019. I hiked the Ganaraska Trail with him, and I think the year after that, him and I both did the Oak Ridges Trail, and we had a blast. At least I did. Apart from the once or twice, I'd like to beat him over the head with my trekking poles. But apart from that, I had a great time. But generally, I hike alone. I prefer to hike alone. I'm just me. But I do look forward to, on occasion, being able to spend a half a day or a day, a morning and afternoon, hiking with somebody who follows my channel and follows me on Facebook and this kind of thing. I've had a couple of girls, Raven and Pamela, that have mentioned about hiking with me maybe on Saturday. And I would be delighted to do that if they're in the area that I'm at. What I don't generally do is slow down or speed up. I just have my agenda, my hike. I'm a big believer of hiking your own hike. A huge believer of that. Oh, Terracotta Conservation Area. So that is where we are. And I know that because there is an overnight rest area in this area. But anyhow, we're in the Terracotta, entering the Terracotta conservation area. So I generally don't look for hiking partners. Sometimes if you're just, you know, you might just bump into somebody that's going the same direction on trail and you might chit chat with them or whatever. But generally I try to, you know, I kind of hike alone. But again, I delight in hiking with people such as Pamela and Raven, who follow me on YouTube, follow my YouTube channels and Facebook and so on, my hiking adventures. Delighted to hike with people like that. Half a day, whatever, it's great. So that answers that particular question. We've got lots of other questions in regards to camping, resupply, and so on, and we'll get to those a little later. Right now, we're just going to keep moving north through the Terracotta Conservation Area, that is. Again, heading towards Forks of the Credit, which is going to be my potential kind of tent area for the night. And there's water there. Let's keep going. fiber pine. I just came out of the forest, crossed Mississauga Road, and carried on straight ahead as the blazes tell me to. And I'm thinking there was a cidery. I recall a cidery. I stopped there. It was actually Tyler Gibson who'd hiked the Bruce Trail the same. When did he do that? 2020, I think. And he stopped there, and that gave me the idea. I'm wondering if this is it just coming up, because they had great coffee, bake shop sandwiches, and I'm just wondering if this is that spirit tree cidery. Is this it? Because if it is, this is actually a pleasant, very pleasant part. Surprise. For my day. So A, is this it? And what day is it? What day is it today? Today's a Thursday. Why would it not be open? I see a car. I see people. Not a lot of cars, just one. Oh, there's more cars. I'm thinking this is it, but is it open? I'm only seeing 3, 4. I'm not seeing a lot of cars. Oh, there's a few cars in there. Spirit Tree Estate Cidery. You know what? Let's just go and see. Let's go see if it's open, because if it is, baked good, cup of coffee, why not indeed? Maybe even a sandwich. Good God, man. Yeah. That'd be great if it's open. Let's go take a look and see. So right now, I'm sat outside the Spirit Tree Cidery. Wow, here in the Toronto section. Towards the end, the north end of the Toronto section. I think I've only got a kilometer, 2 kilometers to the Caledon Hills section. So it's basically right at the end, north end of the Toronto section on the Bruce Trail. This cidery, man, first of all, they got the best damn coffee, really. Amazing baked goods, great pizza. I just had a pizza slice, 2 cups of this coffee. Oh, it's beautiful. And it's so peaceful and relaxing here. I'm probably going to spend an hour here. I got about 10 kilometers from here to get to Forks of the Credit, where I plan on spending the night. That'll work for me today. I don't know what you see from here, but let's have a look. I'm just sat on the porch right now. Well, there's people over there. I think they work here, or maybe not, customers getting some cider and stuff. But just beautiful grounds, lots of picnic tables for people to sit. I decided to sit in the shade just a few minutes ago. It was really sunny. And this is the parking area and so on. But they've got acres and acres and acres of apples, which behind those cars, I'm not sure if you can see all the red dots on those green trees. All those are apples. They grow on the road apples, pears, and peaches. that they use to make their cider and so on. And all the products they make. They have draft cider, and they make, I think, 4 or 5 different ciders. I think they sheet the lady. I just finished talking to a really nice lady for like 20 minutes. Works here. She's worked here for a long time, and she says they have one of the ciders in the LCBO, which is, for those of you who don't know, from other places in Ontario, that's the Ontario kind of beer and wine type stores. So they have one of their products in there. They'd like to get more, but you know what? Just an amazing place. Anyhow, oh, I'm dropping my gloves down here. Anyhow, I'm just going to sit here for a few more minutes, finish my coffee, and then we're going to continue heading north and enter into the Caledon Hills section, which is going to start with a really interesting area called the Cheltenham Badlands, which is really quite spectacular. In fact, I think I can go through the Badlands. I'm not sure. That sometimes it's closed, and I noticed there is some kind of a notice on the app. It might not be open, but if I walk around it on the road, I'll get to the same place. And something I noticed when COVID was all the rage, if you will, the Badlands were closed, so you had to walk around, which I did in 2020. And there was a spectacular shot of the actual Badlands right from the road. I'd like to get that shot again, so I might walk around, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when I get there. Anyhow, I'm going to enjoy my coffee because it's so good. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I hope you're having a good lunch wherever you are. I am. Oh yeah. I cannot imagine life without coffee. Good coffee, like this one. So I just entered into the Cheltenham Badlands properties, if you will. Now, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just not sure if that's actually inside the Caledon section or not. But anyhow, I didn't see a sign telling me I was entering the Caledon section or leaving the Toronto section. But anyhow, not to worry. Okay, let's just keep moving forward, shall we? I may take a side trail. I don't know if I want to get a view. I thought about going around on the road, but I elected not to. I elected to stay on the trail only because the last kilometer or 2 kilometers from the Spirit Tree was along the road, country road, and it's a hot sunny day and it was very exposed. And I thought, well, I can duck back in the green tunnel again now, get some shade. Kind of nice. Okay, let's see. So I just left the viewing platform off a side trail, maybe half a kilometer long side trail up the Bruce to the actual Cheltenham Badlands. Wow, beautiful. Got a couple of nice shots, some nice video as you see. Okay, let's get back on the trail and continue heading north. Okay. So we have indeed, of course, entered into the Caledon Hills section. We did so at the bottom of the southern end of the northern end of the Toronto section, of course, the southern end of the Cheltenham Badlands. I did get distracted there by a couple of day hikers asking me if it was the end of the trail. So I probably didn't read all the signage. There's a lot of signage there about the Cheltenham Badlands, and I think the sign about entering into the Caledon Hills section was probably there. But anyhow, that was the locations. We're inside section 4, the Caledon Hills section. Just taking a little break, on a rock in the shade in the forest. Beautiful little forest here. In fact, take a little look at this forest. It's just gorgeous. Just a gorgeous little forest, and there is a Bruce Trail white blaze with a Bruce Trail marker on a tree, which is, I think somewhere over there. Yeah, beautiful little spot. Anyhow, time to answer a question. And I think it was yesterday, I think a young lady asked me the question saying, am I camping in the same spots as I have before? Well, I said some new, some old, meaning some new camp spots, some old camp spots that I'd camped in before. But the last 2 times on my northbound legs of the Bruce Trail, I'd started at around 7:30ish in the morning. This time I didn't start till noon due to just how it worked out. So right off the get-go, my first day this time was only 15.2 kilometers. So I was like on a totally different schedule when I started. So I camped at different places, which meant the first night, different place. The second night I got to camp, I think it was the second night, I'm sure it was, the Shangri-La campground, which I'd always wanted to, but I always went through there too early. This time I didn't. It was pretty good, and they have ice cream and slushes there. I got that. $45 plus tax to camp there, showers, all that kind of stuff. So I camped there, and then I carried on. Now, by the time I got to Dundas overnight rest area, I was back on the same schedule as my original schedule, which means I'd picked up that half a day. But I'd done some pretty big days, 37-kilometer one day and so on. After that, again, I was actually into some new camping areas, because when I left, the first 2 times I did the northbound hike, when I left Dundas overnight rest area, both times I camped at the City View Park. This time I did not. I went through there earlier, and I just carried on, and I camped at, if memory serves me right now, I went past the Guelph line, through the forest, to another side road, which was called side road number 1, and that was beginning of the road walk, which took me to, I think it's Walker's Line, and then left at Walker's Line, which took me to the parking area of Nemo, Mount Nemo. So I was on a different schedule again. Then I arrived at the Cedar Springs Motel. The Cedar Springs Motel I stayed at last night. I stayed there both times before on my northbound leg, which means today I'm back on the same schedule as I was on those 2 days. Oh, sorry, on those 2 other attempts of the Bruce Trail. And both of those times, heading north, the night after Cedar Springs, I camped at Forks of the Credit, which is what I'm thinking of doing tonight. There's water there. It's around a 29.5-kilometer day, just rounded off to 30 kilometers for now. There's water, there's grass, there's garbage cans. I mean, there's places you can just tuck in there and camp. And as I say, I've done that twice before, unless things have changed. So, again, I camp in different places. I'll give you an example. Just take a look where I am. I'll give you an example right now, because people ask me about camping all the time on the Bruce. So I'm going to give you an example. First of all, this is the trail from where I came just a few minutes ago, and the trail where I'm going in a few minutes from now. Now, right here, to me, this is a great camp spot. It's relatively flat right here, and I could clean that up in a moment. I've got rocks to sit on as a dinner table, breakfast table, whatever. Now, what I don't have here is water, so it's a dry camp, which means I'd have to have camp water. So, you know, you kind of plan that accordingly, depending on the time of day. If it's, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you pass a water source and you think, oh, well, I'm going to get ready for camping in an hour or 2, grab your camp water, because where I am right now is a perfect spot to camp. And I would camp here in a heartbeat. So that gives you an example of the camping places I look for. Could be the corner of a farm field out of the way. It could be the corner of a park under a tree. There's many locations in the forest, just like on the side of, just as the trail comes out of the forest at the side road 1, past the Guelph line. I just camped right there in the forest. A beautiful little spot. So you know what? There's all kinds of options. There's no shortage of options on the Bruce Trail as far as stealth camping is concerned. So yeah, I don't know if that answered too much of that question. Again, the question was, am I camping in the same places? Yes, no, maybe. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, sometimes I'm not sure because I haven't got there yet, but there's lots of options. Okay, that answers that question. I remember this section well as we descend from the escarpment above. the forks of the credit down to the forks of the credit, which most likely is going to be our camp for the night. But remember, it was a challenging descent. Yeah, it's exactly what I remember. Challenging descent. Be very careful. Little reminiscent of the Appalachian. Oh yeah. Whew. I think we'll use the line that they've provided. That might be a little safer. Steep, rocky, challenging. One step at a time. Easy does it. Down this section of trail. It's been a good day today, so far. I don't want to mess things up here at all by hurting ourselves. Yeah, it continues. I don't think the fun's quite over yet. Rocky, steep, and challenging descent. Luckily, it's pretty dry. If it was heavy rain right now, or even just wet, it'd be much harder, much more dangerous. But it's, generally speaking, pretty dry. And exactly the way things were on the Appalachian. I mean, things were red. Those rocks, they were treacherous. Oh yeah. We're just going to take our time, get to the bottom of this descent in one piece. Although, I just don't see the next blaze right now. I think we probably, oh I do, it's way at the bottom, or further down. I'm not going to say the bottom, but further down. Okay, I think this is a make your own trail section down here. Gotta make sure your trekking poles do not get caught between the rocks and stay behind when you're going forward. Very easy way to end up in a predicament. The forks of the credit. Whew. Now, it's a beautiful little place, but it's blocked off for any form whatsoever of parking. Where we're walking right now is also blocked off, saying local traffic only. So they certainly don't want any tourists here. They've just made that evidently clear, which is really sad because, wow, that sun is bright and I'm sure it's pointing right in your face. But anyhow, just up here a little bit is where we hope to find, if it's still there, our camping spots. Let's go see. Okay, right down through here, I see mowed grass ahead of us. I have to wonder how many tourists actually get here now, because it's such a beautiful little spot. It's a shame that it's basically appears to be taken away from people. It's mowed still. The park area, access to the river, the rocks that I usually sit on right ahead of us. Well, let's go down to the river and take a little look. Probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I could of course just water here and carry on for a while, but I don't think I will today. I think my 29.5 kilometers is enough. There is the river. So we're going to get our water source from. And usually these rocks, one of them, provide my dinner table. I've camped different spots in here, and I haven't had an issue as of yet. I've camped right down in there where the shady area is. I've also camped way over here, and I kind of like that. A little more secluded. Way, way, way over here. Nice green grass. I've camped right here. Right in here. Right in here I've camped. Which is probably where I'm going to camp tonight again. It's probably right in here. Yeah. There's a big fine spot right there. So that's probably going to be my camp for the night. I won't set up camp yet. I'm going to relax. Okay. Honey, I'm home. Well, looks like we have a visitor. I think this is a female pheasant. Not pheasant. Peacock. A female peacock. But I truly don't know. Ooh, tires screeching somewhere. After a nice supper, nice dinner of ramen noodles, one of my chicken pouches that Amanda brought me back from Target in Buffalo, and some instant potatoes, I have my camp all set up. Dinner is done. Here's my camp for the night, right here. And if you look just through these trees, you're going to see the river below. Right down there, you see, oh yeah, better shot here. Right down there is the river. So I get to listen to beautiful river flowing. Lulls me to sleep. 31.1 kilometers today. Brings me up to something like 263.8 so far on trail at the end of day 9. Tomorrow will be day 10. Tomorrow, I'm looking at about, again, 30 kilometers, and it's just going to put me just at the other side of Highway 9, I think, if I measured correctly. And if I recall correctly, there is a spot that I've used there once before. But was it on my first or second time? I think it was my first northbound hike. I call that the fire truck stop. There's a reason for that, and we'll get into that one day. But anyhow, I think that's there, but you know what? I also remember the second time looking for it and not seeing it, so don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. Beautiful evening. Man, absolutely gorgeous out here tonight. Really is. Let's just go down to the river one more time. Just take a little look. I think that was a female peacock, by the way, and she'd been hanging around here. She's up by the little country road, eating some berries right now. I just walked down there to the bridge again, take a couple of shots, but let's just take a look at the river again before we go to bed. It's gorgeous here. Got lots of water. I love wet camps. No garbage can, no picnic tables, but there is the rocks to sit on. Should have garbage cans places like this. It just encourages people to just throw their trash on the floor. A lot of people do. You really need to get some garbage cans. Anyhow, beautiful, beautiful Credit River. Same river that runs past my daughter Amanda's house in Mississauga. Yeah, this is exactly the same river, the Credit River. Huh. Anyhow, okay. You know what, guys? We're going to call it a wrap for day 9. Day 10 is going to start early enough. I've been checking. I don't think I have 77 kilometers to go. Today's Thursday, so that's over with. I've got Friday, Saturday, and then I arrive at my motel Sunday for a Sunday night stay. I've got 77 kilometers to go. So I'm thinking if I do 30 tomorrow, Friday, 30 Saturday, leaves me around 17 on the Sunday. Should get there around noonish, 1 o'clock-ish. Perfect time for the motel, have time to relax. So that I think is going to work out okay. Then after that, apparently, as we push north from 89 Primrose area north, we might get into a little bit of rain, but I don't think it's intense rain. I think it's showery rain. Hopefully it's only showery rain. We'll see. Have a good night, everybody. Hey, please like, share, comment, do subscribe. If you have any questions, please ask them. I do try to answer them. I just don't get to them right away sometimes. Have a good night.